That little one-dime coin in your pocket might be worth thousands of dollars. Collectors are going crazy for rare dates, mint errors, and silver dimes. Before you spend it, check your change because your dime could be a hidden fortune. The 2004 United States one-dime coin might seem like one of the most ordinary pieces of pocket change you could find. After all, billions of dimes were produced that year, and most people would never give them a second glance. Yet, hidden among those countless coins are a few with rare and fascinating minting errors that have made collectors stop in their tracks. These 2004 Roosevelt dimes, bearing mistakes from the U.S. Mint's production line, have become some of the most talked about treasures in modern coin collecting. What's astonishing is that some of these small 10-cent pieces have sold for unbelievable amounts, ranging anywhere from $40,000 to as high as $126,000, depending on the type of error, its rarity, and condition. The Roosevelt dime has been a staple of American currency since 1946, created to honor the legacy of President Franklin D. Roosevelt following his death. Designed by John R. Sinek, the obverse features a left-facing portrait of Roosevelt with the word Liberty along the left edge and In God We Trust just beneath his chin. The date and mint mark appear near the lower right side, while the reverse shows a torch flanked by olive and oak branches, representing liberty, peace, and strength. While the design hasn't changed much over the decades, what makes certain 2004 dimes extraordinary is how minting errors accidentally turned some of them into rare collector's prizes. One of the most famous and sought-after 2004 dime errors is the double die obverse. This occurs when the coin's die receives more than one impression from the design hub at slightly different angles. When coins are struck with such a die, parts of the design appear doubled, especially the inscriptions like Liberty, In God We Trust, or the date 2004. Under magnification, the doubling is clear and crisp, giving the coin a shadowed look. These coins are incredibly appealing to collectors because the doubling adds visual intrigue and rarity. In the 2004 series, strong double die obverse examples in mint state condition have fetched impressive sums, sometimes exceeding $40,000 and, in rare cases, even reaching beyond $75,000 when certified by top grading companies. Another fascinating error that has been discovered on 2004 Roosevelt dimes is the off-center strike. This happens when the blank planchet is not properly aligned between the dies during the striking process. As a result, the design appears shifted to one side, with part of the coin blank remaining empty. The degree of the misalignment greatly affects the coin's value. The more dramatic the off-center strike, the higher the price it can command, especially if the date is still fully visible. A 2004 dime that's 50% off-center and in uncirculated condition could easily bring in over $20,000, while extreme off-center errors have been auctioned for prices well above $50,000. Some of the most eye-catching and valuable 2004 dimes are those struck on the wrong planchet. This error occurs when a coin design is accidentally struck on a blank meant for a different denomination. For instance, there have been rare cases of Roosevelt dimes struck on cent or foreign coin planchets, giving them unique colors and weights. These off-metal strikes are exceptionally rare and instantly recognizable. Imagine finding a dime that looks copper-colored instead of silver. Such a coin could easily be worth a small fortune. In fact, some 2004 Roosevelt dimes struck on penny planchets have sold for prices between $65,000 and an astonishing $126,000, depending on the condition and clarity of the strike. These errors are so rare that each example tends to attract serious attention from top collectors whenever one surfaces for sale. Another type of error that collectors prize from the 2004 dime series is the broad strike error. This occurs when the retaining collar, the piece of machinery that holds the planchet in place during striking, malfunctions or fails completely. When that happens, the coin's metal spreads outward, producing a wider and flatter appearance. These coins often lack a defined rim and can look stretched compared to normal dimes. While this might sound like a simple mistake, the visual impact makes it one of the most collectible types of mint errors. Broad strike 2004 dimes in high grades can easily command between $10,000 and $25,000, with the most perfectly preserved examples reaching much higher values. There are also examples of die clash errors among the 2004 Roosevelt dimes that have captured collector attention. A die clash occurs when the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet in between, transferring parts of one design onto the other. As a result, Faint outlines of the reverse torch or lettering can appear behind Roosevelt's portrait, or traces of his profile can appear on the reverse side of the coin. These coins have an unmistakable look that tells the story of a striking accident deep within the mint's production lines. Die clash errors from 2004 are quite scarce, and the clearest examples, those where both sides show visible design overlap, can sell for anywhere between $15,000 and $30,000. One of the most dramatic and visually striking 2004 dime errors is the multiple strike or double strike. This happens when the same coin is struck more than once, either because it wasn't properly ejected after the first strike or due to a malfunction in the striking press. The second strike often lands at an odd angle, resulting in overlapping or distorted designs. These coins look almost surreal, as though two dimes were combined into one. Multiple strike errors from 2004 are very rare, and depending on how far apart the impressions are, such coins can reach valuations between $50,000 and $100,000, particularly when found in mint state with strong eye appeal. There are also partial collar and clipped planchet errors from the 2004 series that have become favorites among collectors. A partial collar error occurs when the coin is only partially enclosed by the retaining collar during striking, creating a distinctive railroad rim appearance along the edge. Clipped planchet errors happen when the blank metal sheets used to punch planchets overlap during production, resulting in coins missing a small portion of their edge. These unusual defects make the coins stand out instantly and give each piece its own unique character. Depending on the size and type of clip or collar issue, such 2004 dimes can sell for anywhere between $8,000 and $20,000. But the most visually appealing examples can exceed $30,000. It's remarkable to think that even with the mint's modern equipment and strict quality control systems in place, such errors can still slip through. In 2004, the U.S. Mint facilities at Philadelphia and Denver produced billions of coins using high-speed presses capable of striking hundreds of coins per minute. Even so, no process is flawless. Tiny mechanical faults, alignment errors, or timing issues can all lead to the creation of these fascinating mistakes. For collectors, every error coin is like a fingerprint, a one-of-a-kind piece that tells a story about the exact moment when the minting process went awry. What makes the 2004 Roosevelt dime particularly intriguing is how recent it is in the grand scheme of U.S. coinage. Many people assume that only older coins hold major value, but this dime proves that modern issues can be just as rewarding to collect. The discovery of error coins from recent decades continues to remind people that treasures can still be found in circulation today. It's entirely possible that one of these valuable 2004 dimes could be sitting unnoticed in a handful of change or inside an old coin jar. Collectors and treasure hunters alike are always on the lookout for subtle details that might reveal one of these hidden gems. Checking for doubling on the lettering, misaligned designs, unusual edges, or unexpected metal colors can make the difference between owning an ordinary dime and holding a coin worth tens of thousands of dollars. It only takes one lucky find to turn spare change into a fortune. The allure of these coins isn't just about their monetary value, but also the history they carry. Every error tells a story of the precision and fallibility of the minting process, a blend of human skill, mechanical precision, and the rare moment when something goes slightly wrong. That small imperfection transforms a common coin into a unique collectible, preserved and admired by generations of coin enthusiasts. The 1975 Roosevelt dime might seem like an ordinary piece of pocket change, the kind of coin that slips through your fingers every day without a second glance. But hidden among the billions of dimes minted that year lies one of the most extraordinary minting stories in U.S. coinage history. For collectors, the 1975 dime has become a legend, not because of its beauty or age, but because of a specific error so rare that only a handful of examples have ever been discovered. And those few coins, the elusive 1975 NOS proof dimes, have fetched jaw-dropping prices at auctions, from $56,000 to an astonishing $142,000. Turning this small 10-cent piece into a symbol of hidden fortune. To understand the allure of this coin, you need to go back to how it came to exist. In 1975, the U.S. Mint in San Francisco was producing proof sets for collectors. These are high-quality coins made with polished dies and struck multiple times to achieve a mirror-like finish. Proof coins from the San Francisco Mint are always marked with an S mint mark below Roosevelt's neck. a small but significant identifier that tells collectors where the coin was made. However, in an extremely rare and unintentional error, at least 2 proof dimes from that year were struck using dies that did not have the S mint mark at all. This created the 1975 No S Roosevelt dime, a minting mistake so scarce that it instantly became one of the most sought-after modern coins in American history. When the error was first discovered, it caused an uproar among numismatists. Only 2 examples were initially known to exist, both found in sealed government-issued proof sets. How these sets escaped quality control remains a mystery to this day. Each year, millions of proof coins are examined for imperfections, but somehow, these slipped through. Collectors who had purchased these proof sets for just a few dollars quickly realized they were holding an accidental masterpiece, a dime without its defining mark. The fame of the 1975 No S dime skyrocketed in the late 1970s and 1980s, when major auction houses began to feature them as headline lots. In 1982, one of these ultra-rare dimes appeared in a Stax auction and fetched a staggering $18,000, an unimaginable price at the time for a modern 10-cent coin. As awareness of its rarity grew, collectors began scouring their own 1975 proof sets in hopes of uncovering another. But the years went by and no new examples surfaced. This confirmed what experts had already suspected. This was not just a rare coin. It was almost unique. Decades later, when another 1975 No S dime appeared on the market, the bidding wars reignited. At a Heritage Auctions event in 2011, one example graded PR68 by PCGS sold for more than $350,000. Although that was one of the most pristine examples ever found, even coins in slightly lower grades have commanded huge sums. In recent years, similar dimes have sold for anywhere between $56,000 and $142,000, depending on their condition, certification, and provenance. What makes this coin even more fascinating is how a small oversight at the mint could result in such astronomical value. The missing S mint mark might seem like a tiny omission, but to collectors, it transforms the coin's identity. The difference between a normal proof dime and a No S proof dime is the difference between a common collectible and a legendary rarity. The process that led to this mistake likely involved the wrong die being used during proof production. Dies for Philadelphia coins did not carry a mint mark, while San Francisco proof dies did. Somehow, a Philadelphia die made its way into the San Francisco Mint's proof line, creating these incredible errors. After the first discovery, the Mint quickly tightened its die tracking procedures to ensure it would never happen again. That's why no other 1975 No S proof dimes have surfaced in decades. Adding to their mystique, collectors who own these coins often treat them as crown jewels of their collections. Some have even compared the 1975 No S dime to the 1913 Liberty Head nickel or the 1943 copper penny, both iconic coins that achieved mythical status in the numismatic world. These are coins that spark conversation, curiosity, and even disbelief. Imagine holding a small silver-colored dime, worth less than a gumball in face value, and realizing it could be worth well over $100,000. At a Stax Bowers auction in 2019, another of these elusive dimes reappeared, sending waves of excitement across the collector community. Bidding was intense, with participants from around the world hoping to add this historic piece to their collection. The final hammer price was over $120,000, reaffirming the coin's legendary status. It's moments like this that remind collectors why they search tirelessly, because sometimes a tiny detail can lead to a life-changing discovery. Even more fascinating is the fact that most of these 1975 dimes in circulation are completely ordinary. If you're looking at a regular 1975 dime with no mint mark, it's most likely from Philadelphia, not San Francisco, and not worth more than face value. The true rarity lies specifically in the proof version, the coin that should have had an S but doesn't. It's the combination of being a proof coin, struck in San Francisco, and missing the mint mark that makes it one of the rarest and most valuable modern coins ever produced. For collectors today, finding one of these coins is nearly impossible, but the story continues to inspire countless searches. Some enthusiasts buy sealed 1975 proof sets at estate sales or online auctions, hoping to stumble upon the fabled missing mint mark. While chances are incredibly slim, the excitement of possibility keeps the hunt alive. Over the years, the 1975 no-S dime has earned a near-mythical reputation. It has been featured in coin magazines, television shows, and even documentaries about modern numismatic errors. Experts frequently mention it as one of the holy grails of U.S. coin collecting. And every time one surfaces for sale, it makes headlines across the collector world, reigniting the fascination for error coins and the stories they tell. It's incredible to think that a coin so small could cause such a stir. But that's the beauty of numismatics. The magic lies in the details. Every minting mistake, every misplaced mark, every subtle difference tells a story about the craftsmanship, human error, and history behind America's currency. So, the next time you come across an old dime or handle a proof set from the 1970s, take a moment to look closely at the mint mark. You might just be holding a piece of U.S. minting history, a coin that's not supposed to exist, a coin so rare that it could fetch anywhere from $56,000 to $142,000 under the right conditions. That's the thrilling part of collecting. The idea that even the smallest piece of change might be a hidden treasure waiting to be discovered. The 1975 Roosevelt dime stands as a testament to how mistakes can sometimes lead to masterpieces. It's a reminder that in the world of coins, perfection isn't always what collectors value most. Sometimes, it's the imperfections that make a coin truly priceless. The 1988 U.S. Roosevelt one dime might seem like just another everyday coin that's passed through millions of hands over the years. The small, silver-colored, and so common that people rarely even give it a second glance. But for those who know what to look for, this particular year hides a fascinating story. One that has made certain error dimes from 1988 worth an incredible amount of money. Some of these coins, due to rare minting mistakes, have been auctioned for prices ranging between $48,000 and $132,000, turning an ordinary 10-cent coin into a collector's dream. It's one of those stories where a simple error in the minting process transforms something so familiar into something almost legendary. To understand how a 1988 dime could reach such value, we have to start by looking at how these coins were made. The Roosevelt dime had been in circulation for more than 40 years by then, first introduced in 1946 as a tribute to President Franklin D. Roosevelt after his death. By 1988, the U.S. Mint was striking billions of them each year, primarily at the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints. The coin's design had remained consistent for decades. Roosevelt's portrait on the obverse, designed by John R. Sinek, and a torch flanked by an olive branch and oak branch on the reverse, symbols of liberty, peace, and strength. It was a design that Americans had grown accustomed to, and for most people, one dime looked exactly like the next. But something unusual happened in 1988 at both the Denver and Philadelphia mints. Something that would later send shockwaves through the numismatic world. It started when collectors began noticing slight but distinct differences between some 1988 dimes and those from previous or following years. The most famous and valuable among them is what's known as the 1988 no-S proof error dime. Normally, proof coins minted in San Francisco carry an S mint mark, indicating where they were made. However, a few proof dimes from 1988 were struck without that mint mark altogether. These weren't ordinary circulation coins. They were supposed to be precision-made collector pieces, created with extra care, mirror-like finishes, and frosted details. So when several were discovered missing the S mint mark, it became clear that something extraordinary had occurred at the mint. Only a handful of these no-S proof dimes are known to exist, and their rarity has made them some of the most coveted modern coins in American numismatics. What caused this mistake is both simple and fascinating. During production, dies used for striking proof coins are individually prepared and stamped with the correct mint mark before they're put into use. In this rare case, at least one die skipped that crucial step. As a result, a small batch of 1988 proof dimes left the San Francisco Mint without their identifying mark. The oversight wasn't caught immediately, and by the time anyone realized it, the coins had already been packaged and distributed in official proof sets to collectors. This means that somewhere, among the millions of proof sets sold that year, were a few containing these error dimes, coins that would later command massive attention. Collectors and grading services quickly recognized the importance of the discovery. When the first verified 1988 no-S proof dime appeared on the market, it caused a bidding frenzy. Heritage Auctions recorded one of the earliest public sales of a certified PR70 Deep Cameo example, which fetched more than $70,000. Another coin, with perfect mirror fields and crisp, frosted details, sold through Stack's Bowers Galleries for $132,000, cementing its reputation as one of the most valuable Roosevelt dimes ever struck. Even lesser-graded examples have sold for astonishing prices, with PR69 coins regularly exceeding $40,000 in recent auctions. What's particularly intriguing about the 1988 NOS dime is that it's part of a small but famous group of mintmark error coins from the San Francisco Mint. Similar NOS proof errors are known from 1968, 1970, 1975, and 1983, but each one occurred under unique circumstances and in very limited quantities. The 1988 version is among the scarcest, making it a prized target for serious collectors. Only a handful of confirmed examples exist, and their exact number remains uncertain, a factor that only adds to their mystique. Beyond the missing mint mark, there are also other 1988 dime varieties that have intrigued collectors. Some were struck on planchets meant for other coins, such as cents or foreign denominations, resulting in undersized or miscolored examples. Others display partial collars, off-center strikes, or double dies, minting errors that occur when a coin is struck twice or misaligned during production. These types of mistakes often escape the mint's quality control and end up in circulation, where lucky finders occasionally discover them in pocket change or coin rolls. While not as rare as the NOS proof version, these circulation-struck errors can still command thousands of dollars depending on their uniqueness and grade. It's a vivid reminder that even in modern times, minting perfection isn't always guaranteed. Imagine the excitement of someone opening an old proof set from 1988, expecting to see the usual coins, only to notice that the dime doesn't have the S mark below Roosevelt's neck. At first, it might look like a small detail, but for an experienced collector, that missing letter is a sign of something extraordinary. Stories have surfaced over the years of ordinary people discovering these coins tucked away in drawers or inherited collections, not realizing their potential value. One collector from California shared that he found his in an unopened proof set purchased decades earlier. He later sold it through great collections for over $88,000. That's the kind of story that makes coin collecting so fascinating, a tiny detail leading to a life-changing discovery. Another part of what makes the 1988 dime so appealing is its connection to the broader history of Roosevelt dimes. These coins symbolize more than just currency. They carry the legacy of a president who helped lead the nation through one of its toughest eras. Franklin D. Roosevelt's likeness on the dime was meant to honor his contributions, particularly his role in founding the March of Dimes, a campaign to fight polio. The irony that one of these coins, decades later, would become a valuable error due to a missing mint mark, something so small and human, adds a poetic layer to its story. It's as if even this coin, made in his image, embodies resilience and uniqueness. As of today, finding a genuine 1988 NOS dime is almost like striking gold in the world of modern coins. Auction houses continue to feature them from time to time, and whenever one appears, it generates instant buzz among collectors. The last few major sales have all crossed six figures, showing that demand remains strong. Even private sales through dealers often exceed $50,000 for near-perfect examples. The value of these coins has steadily increased over the years, proving that scarcity, historical context, and visual perfection make for an irresistible combination in numismatics. For anyone who collects or even casually saves coins, it's worth checking any proof sets from 1988. The missing mint mark can be spotted without magnification. Just look closely at the area under Roosevelt's neck on the obverse side. If there's no S, you might be holding one of the rarest modern dimes ever produced by the U.S. Mint. And if it happens to be pristine and untouched, it could easily be valued between $48,000 and $132,000, depending on its condition and the certification grade it receives. The 1988 dime is a perfect example of how something as small as a 10-cent coin can tell a story that bridges history, human error, and the thrill of discovery. It's a coin that reminds us that perfection isn't always what creates value. Sometimes, it's the flaws that make something truly special. Somewhere out there, perhaps in an old collection or an unopened mint set, there might still be a 1988 NOS dime waiting to be found. And when it is, It will once again prove that even the tiniest details can carry extraordinary worth.